Hello, my name is Vera Bota, and I'm an integration solution architect working with ANT. This is the second series in series of video podcasts, during which we are discussing about ways to increase the customer experience of retailers. Today we'll do a technical deep dive into a demo that we prepared for integrating the Milkman delivery system with Bagisto e-commerce shop using the integration platform Jitterbit. But first, let's welcome our guests, Chris from Jitterbit and Marco from Milkman. If you can say a couple of words about yourselves.
Yeah, I can start. Thank you, Vera, for the quick presentation, and nice to meet you again, Chris. I'm Marco Canteri. I work for Milkman Technologies. I'm in this company from 4 years almost, and I'm customer success manager. And so basically, I'm handling the onboarding and managing the integrations with the prospect, the customers, and I'm also responsible for the customer support and operation team. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Marco. Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. Looking forward to this session. A little bit about myself. My name is Chris Hartley. I am the Director of Sales Engineering for EMEA and APAC for Jitterbit. So Jitterbit is one of the leading iPaaS vendors out there. It has been for many, many years. But myself, I am a seasoned professional, let's say. I've worked in integration for many years. I'm a certified enterprise architect, Azure developer, amongst other things. So I've got a history in development, looked after project management teams, BAs, obviously long history in integration itself. I was using Jitterbit before I ever worked here. So I used to be a customer, and then I came over to this side, which was great. And today, yeah, looking forward to going over this process. It's an interesting, popular business process, and hopefully we can have a bit of a deep dive into the technical aspects of this and see where we can go from it. So thank you for the invite. Looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you for being here. Good, so let's dive into it. I'll just start sharing my screen. So this is just a simple demo Bagisto shop that we created. We decided to go for a demo furniture store. And you have all the normal features where you can see products, you can add them to cart, and then you can go all through the checkout process. And the idea here is that you can improve your customer experience by providing them the options that they need to meet their requirements. Because when we are talking about simple things like for delivery, no one wants to sit around and wait all day and at the end of the day, delivery might not even be in that in that day. So it's nice if customers could have personalized experience that they can tailor for their needs. For example, things like selecting shipping slot. You know when your package will arrive, and you are also able to choose between different costs of the delivery service. For example, you might prefer free delivery, or you might prefer to pay a little amount, but you get it in a different time slot, and also selecting the delivery date. And I think this is something really simple that all retailers can do. Is just add options that users can select from in order to make their buying experience more tailored to their needs. So this is actually a customization of the standard Bagisto shop. Bagisto doesn't support out of the box showing these delivery options. So we had to implement a custom shipping method. And the delivery options that you see here with the dates and time slots, they are actually generated by Milkman, and they are brought into Bagisto through the Jitterbit integration platform. And as you can see them, the user can select, for example, you can have favorite options like here on the 13, and you can select a free day. And Milkman is generating this information and is also signaling to users, okay, this is a preferred time slot that saves money and energy, so you can actually contribute to saving the environment, and you can be environmentally aware when you make an order. If you are able to do that, and if you're not constrained, for example, to a certain time slot that is not preferred, let's say. And after you select the shipping method, the user can, of course, go and select a payment method. I'll select money transfer, which I can do later. And then I get the order summary, and then I can just place the order. And once I place the order, the call goes to Jitterbit, and from Jitterbit, it goes to Milkman, and Milkman can process the order. But before we go further, Marco, can you please tell us a little bit about how the delivery options that we see here are generated by Milkman, and what's the logic behind exposing those?
Yeah, would be glad. Let me quickly share my screen. So this is one of the interfaces of our Smart Promise. It's basically the engine that is behind the scene, that is basically calculating in real time, which is the possible options. Because what I want to mention is that maybe you can see a little bit on top. What we can monitor, and we monitor, is also the capacity of the fleet. So all the options that are returned by via API to the checkout, for example, in this case, took into consideration which is the availability of the fleet. So if you have already saturated that day because there is no more trucks that can serve more orders, that day will be excluded, for example, or the small time windows will be excluded. I prepared a very simple example. Here we basically are defining three different choices in terms of prices. So if the duration of the slot is larger than 5 hours, is for free. If it's between 3 and 5 hours, is costing €6 or dollars. We actually do not consider the currency. And if it's smaller than 3 hours, so it's quite demanding for the fleet, it's going to cost €9. And we also have a graphical representation on top to show basically which are the available slots and so on. Here in the example, all the slots are available, but in a real situation, closer you go to the delivery day, you are going probably to reduce the availability of the fleet, so you're going to exclude some possibility. And this is a static assignment of the prices and the availability, but we can also have dynamic approach based on the cart value. For example, we can discount the delivery because we know that for carts that are higher than 500, we can say, okay, we are going to deliver for free, or we can have dynamic pricing based on the capacity of the fleet. So as closer you are to the saturation of the fleet, maybe you want to discount something because you want to sell the last slots that you have, or you want to increase the price because maybe you want to ask the customer to delay a little bit the delivery because you don't want to saturate 100% of the fleet, because you want to keep some space because of some emergency or whatever. So this is basically the back office interface that is available for our customer, but it's also something that we can help, of course, in the configuration, because it's some kind of pseudocode configuration. But at the end, it's not so complicated. It's super dynamic and real-time calculation of the availability slot. And so basically, this is how we can demand the shaping the demand, and to provide to the final user, the customer that is buying the goods, the most convenient option. Convenient not doesn't mean that is the cheaper one, but maybe they want to pay more because they are going to bring the kids at school, so they are not going to be home earlier than 9:30 in the morning. So they want to receive the goods that day, but before 9:30, because otherwise they're going to miss. So basically, this is how the platform is able to shape the demand, keeping into consideration that it's really important the real capacity of the fleet. So there are two inputs for the Smart Promise tool. One is the fleet configuration, so the trucks, the type of trucks. Maybe some trucks cannot deliver some goods and so on. We took all these details, we put them together, and we calculate real time, which is the possible options to provide to the customer. That's it.
Okay, real nice information. So this information about the delivery options, is it exposed in any way, or how can we read it and integrate it into the e-commerce solution?
Yeah, it's exposed by API. We have specific APIs for this purpose, and we call them negotiation APIs. And probably Chris is the right person to explain a little bit better how Jitterbit and the Agile Network is working on this.
Okay, great. So yeah, Chris, then if you can tell us a little bit about how Jitterbit is using the Milkman API to get the right information to Bagisto, and also to talk a little bit about why we should use Jitterbit to do this integration. I mean, it's just an API. Bagisto is just some PHP code. You can just call the API from Bagisto. So why does it make sense to use Jitterbit for this?
Yeah, sure. So before I show, I'll show the APIs, how we connect it in, and what Jitterbit is doing in this scenario. Just to answer that question, why Jitterbit? Well, you mentioned it's just PHP. Yeah, it's great, but what happens if the next coder comes in into Node.js or .NET as an example? So a lot of great technologies out there, and each coder, each developer is great in their own way, but it's not really scalable as the business grows and new coders and new developers come in. So what Jitterbit can do is it can be that middleware that does its job, does its integration job, and does it properly. So I think there's an old saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it now, but when all you have is a hammer, all you see is nails. And if you are a PHP developer, that's what you're coding. That's what you're coding. Again, with Node.js, .NET, take your pick. With Jitterbit, and this is maybe sounds a bit more salesy, but it's actually true. We do deliver, when you're using an integration, a lower maintenance cost. It is quick and easy to make these changes, and not just in your specific language. You see, faster time to market, the compliance, security. Scalability, I actually want to talk about, but I'll talk about a bit later, because in what we're doing right now is only a small part of this business process. It can be expanded and scaled out quite dramatically, not just using the two technologies we've talked about, but multiple. And again, I'll touch on that a bit later if we have time, but this is the introduction of maybe a CRM, an ERP. You mentioned a PIM, other types of technologies that you would have to hard code in if you were using PHP to connect into these. So yeah, there's quite a number of reasons why you would go down the integration route. Again, being a developer myself, when somebody asked the question, can we do this? My hand would go straight up. Yes, I can do that. I can do that. But when you start thinking strategically and you start realizing, well, actually, the people who have these skill sets, they can be used more strategically. That resource can be used in a more focused way and allow the integration side to do the integration stuff. So there's two calls that were created. The first one was generating the delivery options. Now this is quite a fascinating one. So it's quite easy in Jitterbit to create an API. I can show you a really quick example here. Simply clicking on one of these operations and you can publish as an API, and straight away, as you built your integration, you can externalize this in a service. It really is as simple as that. We do have a dedicated API section that allows you to manage, monitor, maintain this, all without using code. So multiple options, but easy to use. So this one here, 1.0, is we receive in the API request coming in from the store. And as you can see, I'll pop in quickly. It's a simple mapper, a transformation engine here that maps one schema that we predetermine, which is the request, into one that's created and allows us to do whatever we want. We can validate, we can enrich, excuse me, we can do what we want here. We can do it at different levels as well. So I like to think of this as being able to work with the record set of whatever comes in, work with each record, and then work right down at field level. So here we're capturing different types of information as it's coming in, and as we capture them, we're going to use them to go and look up in Milkman and get some options. Now, the reason why I said this is fascinating is you've seen them from that transformation. It was a set schema from the start, and we transformed it, if you will, into another schema. Now, that's great when you know what that schema is. With the response from Milkman, it comes back and we don't know the schema. So it's a dynamic schema. So we've handled that. We make those options. So we make that call, receive those options back, and simply respond to the API. So we have a simple API request and an API response. We're handling these errors in the same way across both types of calls, which that consistency is key. What we're doing here is we're capturing any information, any error information that happens, and we're returning that back to the user. Now you can do all sorts of different things here. So right now, like I said, we're just responding back with an error code and an error message, but we could easily create a ticket in another system. Think of a BMC type of scenario. Go and create a ticket and allow somebody to fix it. We could send an email. We could send a Slack notification. Take your pick how you want to handle your errors. We could do that, and we per message, per error type, we could do different things as well. We haven't gone that far here, but we've simplified it with a simple request and response from an API. So that's the first call. Second one is the order creation side. So we're registering that delivery order. Now this is more involved than a simple request response, I guess. Only one step more involved. But as we take the request, the initial request coming in here, we first of all go into Milkman and make one call, this delivery order call. Once that's created, we're taking those responses, making a new call to add packages, and that's based on the response of the first call. So you can see a chain going on here, a nice workflow that's happening, all built in here within Jitterbit, quite simple. And again, we're using the same type of error handling method that we used for the first one. So what is it, as programmers say, DIY, don't repeat yourself. Here we're reusing a lot of that logic that we created in the first time, which allowed us for that faster time to completion. And if you want the faster time to market in creating these types of services. As an example, let me just click in, where are we? Here. I wanted to show you in this schema in particular, you can see we're actually writing to an operation log. So with Jitterbit, I'm quite security conscious. We don't just go save your business data anywhere. You have to be explicit. When the data is stored, here you see write to operation log. We have customers, do you see, that are health help customers, governments, banks, these types of stuff. So we have to fully encrypt all of our code, whether it's at rest or in transit. So if you want to explicitly log, that's how we allow you to do it. We've also put in here, I'll show you another example. We're just simply concatenating. Now, before I mention that, I'm oversimplifying the 3 levels of ways you can interact with data: record, set, record, and field. Here, we've gone right down to the field level, and we've allowed ourselves that ability to really enhance the features that are available. And we've done that through a set of functions. The functions are quite easy to understand. So take your pick. I don't know. You click on one, fully documented, fully easy to use. You can, if you know them, you can just start writing them, or you can do simply double click and enhance. This is how easy it is to start using these functions within Jitterbit at this level. There's a lot we can do here. I won't go into too much detail, but you can abstract your business logic, maybe put it in script and call them like you would do a normal function. So although you see a lot of drag and drop, we're not prescriptive in how you should develop. We give you those that ability, if you will, to really enhance or enrich your data or your workflow. Sorry. So we come out of here. Again, for us, we are connecting 2 systems, 2 disparate systems here, but you can see it's quite simple. There's not much to it. It is drag and drop. And I always say, maybe I'm oversimplifying this, but once you know what you want to do, building it is easy. And that's the key part, is once you know your data, the rest of it is the easy part. I have missed out one little simple thing, which is a Milkman authentication. So again, reusability for our calls. We can simply make that authentication call, use the response back there, and then authenticate properly into the APIs. Now, I know we're going to touch on it later, but right now we're just using the Milkman in 2 simple calls. So what we could do going forward is really go further and start to enhance this whole business process. So we may want to talk around maybe customer communication. Maybe we want to send updates or status updates, or look at the tracking of where these packages are. Maybe we want to really enhance the order processing side ourselves, make multiple calls. Inventory management is another one we could look at here, but maybe not just for one system. Maybe we have a multitude of systems. So with Jitterbit, we also have built-in message queues. And what we could use them for is really decouple these end systems and create reusable chunks of work. I don't want to say microservices, but maybe small services we'll call them. But decoupling these systems with workflows really enhances not just your experience by building integration, but the speed in what you can do it. Again, I don't want to go too deep into a lot of this stuff, but yeah, a lot you can do here. Do you guys have any questions on these particular types of APIs?
Not about the API itself, but I'm curious. So just to explain the infrastructure setup, the Bagista instance is actually run on one of our VMs. However, the Milkman and Jitterbit instances, they are not actually managed by us. So if you can tell a bit the hosting for Jitterbit and for Milkman.
Yeah, sure. I can start with the Jitterbit side before we can talk to Marco. But we, the people say legacy systems, which I'm not fully okay with, because I like to call them secure systems. You will have systems within your environments, your business environments, that are behind a firewall. It could be in a virtual private cloud, it could be an on-premise, it could be on a box underneath your table, which it's not unlikely that can happen. These systems, they're secure behind these firewalls. Jitterbit allows you, by using our runtime agents, to install them in the right place. So it very securely creates an outbound first connection. So you can have a cloud to cloud, which is say a SaaS to SaaS as an example, type of integration. or you can have a cloud to ground with our private agents, or full ground to ground type of integration as well. So no matter where your systems are, Jitterbit can connect into them. It goes further still. So our agents, they're put inside what we call an agent group. So with an agent group, they can be highly available, load balanced. You can have these agents within a group in different geographical locations. So as far as the system is concerned, it's one group handling, ready to, active, ready to take on your calls. But if you put them in geographical different locations, if one site goes down, your business critical integrations are still able to go ahead. So from a very simple high level cloud to cloud type of scenario, right the way down to a super secure, highly available, load balanced, behind the firewall, if you will, set of integrations, we can handle those scenarios also. Give you that full configurable freedom as well. So once you have those agents, you can configure them to suit your own needs, with obviously the help of Jitterbit to support you and everything. So no matter what that scenario is, yes, we can help in that scenario. Hope that answered that question.
Yeah, and so these agents are actually running the code that we're configuring here, right? With this.
Yeah. So looking at the screen, this is the development environment where you would you drag and drop, configure, build your integrations. So what you would do then is once you deploy these, the project metadata, if you will go down to these agents, these runtime agents, and it's there that the business that the integrations are run. So quite key that your business data is your data, secure. We don't have access to it. When you build out this project, that metadata is sent down to the agent, installed there, and that's where it's run. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So how about Milkman? Is Milkman an on-premise solution? Is it a cloud solution?
Oh, it's a SaaS software, so it's a cloud solution, and we do not work on premise because as SaaS, of course, it's much easier to keep everything on the cloud. And I just want to add something about Jitterbit. I think that it's amazing how you can see in one screen the high-level integration flow. It's definitely not easy if you are developing your own code and you ask, okay, which are the steps of the integration flow? It's going to be a nightmare to understand it. But with Jitterbit, you can basically open one link and Jitterbit Cloud Studio, and to see exactly, so we are going to do this, and this. And I think it's much easier also if someone else is taking over the project or stuff like that to work on that project. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. And I feel you. So as developers, I know that every time I need to present the solution to management or to a customer, I have to rely on diagrams and architecture models that I've built in another solution. And now with Jitterbit, you just have it. You can show them this, and okay, these are the steps of the solution. Pack.
There's also the reason why I reshared it, just to Marco, just to kind of follow on from what you said as well. At this project that we're looking at right now, there's two people working on it. You can see the top right very well on this. I'm on it, obviously, as you can see. So you can have that pair programming on this as well. It's not a single way of looking. There's so many features here that don't really want to go into too much. But there's quite a lot of I could go project history. You can see all of the history, all of the changes that were made. The one I really like is deploys. You can see when this project was deployed, so you can revert back. Now, obviously, I don't make mistakes, but I do. So I always have to revert back to a previous known state, good state, because of the way I work. So this is, to me, it's brilliant. We can make these changes, test them, very well, does really good. I come in, mess everything up, and then we have to revert back to before I came in. So really, really handy to use. There's quite a lot of other features that would probably are not as relevant, things like role-based access control. I always use an example of, imagine you have a development, a QAT or UAT or non-production, and then production. You may invite me into your org and say, hey, Chris, come and build out this integration for me or help me, and we work together. I say, yeah, but guess what, Chris, we don't trust you in production, so we're not going to give you access to that, which is great. I can help with the developments. We can migrate it to your UAT. Once all the testing's done, I can't migrate that to production. I can't touch production. It's only then that you have the right people being able to make those changes. So again, we can look at the security way of working. Ease of use is great, but it's not just about ease of use as well. It's making sure your integration fits into that strategic thinking, your maintenance plans, and all this type of stuff. But yeah, but I digress.
Okay, great stuff. So let's go back to the shop. I'll share my screen again. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. As you already saw, the delivery options were selected, the package was created, and the order was created in Milkman, and we can go in the shop and we can see in the order history table, here is our order. And what Milkman also does when it creates the order, it also creates a tracking page, and we can just click on this track icon here that we added to Magisto, and it will forward us to the tracking page. This is the Milkman tracking page. Of course, this is a demo logo just for this, but normally here you would see the logo of the shipping company that will actually deliver your package, and you can see the delivery information, and you can maybe do some changes, but I'll let Marco take over and explain a little bit about what happens after the order is placed and it reaches Milkman.
Yeah, okay, let me explain a little bit, then I can maybe show you how this tracking page is changing during the flow, the execution of during the operation at the end. So what happens behind the scene is that on a scheduled basis, or because the customer wants to manual handle the planning of and assignment of the orders to the driver, our platform always keeping into consideration all the constraints of the fleet. As I said before, maybe some trucks cannot deliver some type of fragile goods or big and bulky because they need to be two-man handling or whatever. So we can plan basically and assign the orders based on this kind of constraints. I'm actually doing it right now, talking to you. So if I now share my screen, you will see that the interactive tracking page is changed. Let me share the screen. So this is the tracking page. Of course, it's a web application at the end, so you can open, it's adaptive, you can open via desktop, or you can open on the mobile device, you can do whatever you prefer. And as you can see here, we now have 3 hour time slots, not 4, as was selected by the VRL during the checkout, because I have assigned this order to an actual driver. So quickly, this is basically the driver application where I have assigned the order. And here you can see that there are 3 hour time windows. It's not 4, because at the end of the planning and when the calculation is done, And as you can see, is very quickly. I did it in a few seconds. Of course, it depends of the size of the fleet, the number of orders, but the platform is quite quick in this calculation. And here the customer is in real time updated on what's happening. So this order was 4 to 8 p.m. and they already know that it's 4 to 7. So maybe they can say, okay, I had to do one thing for my child, and I will go after 7 because I have that 1 hour that is enough for me to do that. I don't know to delay it to tomorrow or stuff like that. And in every moment, of course, it's configurable, but we enabled this feature for this demo. They can also reschedule it. So here, basically, they can say, okay, let's go on tomorrow or the day after, because it's based on the fleet capacity, because maybe I booked the appointment for today, but I have an issue. I had an issue and I cannot be home at between 4 to 7 today. So let's reschedule to the 50th, because maybe I know that I will be home that day. And they can reschedule it. We can keep track of how much they have paid for the delivery, so we can offer only the free options. So maybe it's much easier for them to select what they want. And of course, this is the main information that is related to this order. But if we flip the card, we have all the details of the delivery. And here we have the doorbell and stuff like that. And as soon as we will start the route execution, we'll also see the driver, face and name that will deliver. But before that, in every moment, the customer can change the information and add instruction for the delivery. So like pay attention to the dog, or the entrance is on the right side of the building, stuff that can help a lot the driver during the execution. It means that you are saving time, you're saving money at the end, and you can maybe serve more customer in the same day, because of course you are reducing the time spent at the customer site. So this is really important. Of course, they can always see the location and all the information related to the order. And also for security, they can also have the PIN for the authorization to the driver for the delivery. I'm now going to start the driver execution. Give me 1 second. If in the meantime you have any question, feel free to do that.
I think it's great that you're showing the delivery window, and it's even adjusted, and the accuracy increases as you allocate the shipping to an actual truck, because I always hate it when I have to sit around and wait for a delivery, and especially when it's about furniture and I need help carrying it up. And I need to ask my friends, hey, I'm having some furniture delivered today, can you help me just bring it in the apartment? And they always ask, what time does the delivery is scheduled for? And they said, today. It's like, just wait around for it. It'll come, hopefully.
Yeah, talking about notification and update, generally speaking, that also was mentioned by Jitterbit and Chris before. What we have is a layer of communication. We can support SMS, email, and also webhooks. So we can notify another system like Jitterbit, for example, saying, hey, the platform has planned that order. It's assigned to a driver. It's going to be delivered between 4 to 7 today. So they can in real time receive a notification like SMS or email, whatever. And one of the most used is probably the 10-minute, what we call 10-minute SMS. It's basically an SMS notification that is sent a few minutes before the delivery. So the recipient and the shopper at the end is basically receiving an alert, hey, we are coming, we are very close to your place. And from that moment, they can see like a Uber-like interface where there is the map on this interactive tracking page, and the position of the building and position of the real-time position of the driver. So it's really helpful for them to, maybe they have time to get out of the shower and to grab the money for the cash on delivery. And we didn't mention it, but in the cash on delivery situation, we also have that information in the interactive tracking page. So they can see how much, they have a reminder how much money they're going to pay. So everything is oriented to be efficient and to provide at the same time the best user experience to the shopper. And we know that happy customer means that they're going to be back to buy on your website, and so they are going to be happy and they're going to pay maybe again you instead of a competitor, right? So okay, I'm now ready. I will start the execution. And I basically started the execution on the driver application. I scanned the package, let's say, and I'm now going to deliver these orders to show you how the interactive tracking is changing. So fulfilling the order, fulfill. And of course, during the execution, I can collect pictures or for example, take a signature or other stuff to prove the cash on delivery. Actually, in the meantime, you saw that the tracking page is updated, providing you also a more precise estimation on the delivery, because now the route is ongoing. So the system is constantly and every 5 minutes, if I remember well, updating the ETA of every order of that route. So in the meantime, you can see all this stuff. I'm faking a signature as a proof of delivery, and I'm now fulfilling a couple of information for the fulfillment. So I've completed the order execution, and I'm now going to see very quickly, very soon, that the interactive tracking page is going to update, but I can force a refresh. Okay, done. So here you can see that there is the signature I took, and you have the information on who have received that the package, at what time, and of course, we can also collect feedbacks from the customers.
I see you've given you some good feedback. That was good of you.
The best, only the best.
Yeah, obviously.
So basically, this is how it works. The interactive tracking page is really important in our, let's say, process. We always keep into consideration this aspect because the customer, the shopper, is always one really important part of the process. So we want to delight the customer, and we are doing our best to delight it.
Yeah. So in the end, all these steps, if they help the customer understand better what's going on, keeping him informed, I think it also helps that it reduces the amount of tickets that get raised, and it decreases the requests for your support team. So
yeah, the Wismo call is probably one of the most important things. So the customer that is calling you, hey, where is my order?
Exactly.
They know in any time, during the execution from the checkout, as you show, as soon as the order is created, the tracking page is available. I'm probably not able to count the times that I order stuff with some carriers, and you are receiving the tracking. Oh, the tracking code. So let's check where it is. And you search the tracking code on the carrier's site. Not yet available. But you sent me. How is it even possible? You sent me the tracking code and it's not working. And maybe it's working after 12 hours. So basically you say, okay, it will arrive some time or tomorrow or the day after. Or whatever.
Like, just wait for it. It'll be there.
You hope to be home or in the office when they arrive.
Yeah. The real problem with this just wait for it is that I feel like they don't consider my time to be valuable. But I also have work to do. I mean, if I have to gather the delivery and I have to tell my boss, hey, today I'm working from home because I don't know when the package will arrive. It's just silly. It doesn't really make sense.
And you will be sure that they are going to come at your place when you are in a meeting, for sure.
Yeah. The Moore's law. Yeah.
So you stayed home and you are going to miss it anyway because you cannot stop the meeting, or maybe it's an important one you cannot. So yeah, that's the point.
Okay, so that's some great info. Thank you. So today's demo was built around integrating Milkman with the Bagisto e-commerce solution. But as Chris already mentioned, you can do so much more with integrations. I mean, you can integrate Milkman with other e-commerce solutions like Shopify and Shopware and WooCommerce, things for which Jitterbit already has predefined connectors. But you can also integrate your e-commerce solution with other systems like Beam or an AI that can furthermore help you increase the customer's experience when interacting with the e-commerce solution. So, Chris, if you can tell us a little bit about what features make Jitterbit easy to use for building integration and what people should consider when looking at Jitterbit.
Yeah, so thank you. I'll try to stick to this process just as an example. So this is a snapshot of, if you will, of an order fulfillment, an e-commerce order fulfillment business process, and we are focusing, specifically on that last mile delivery aspect through this call. But so the tasks we did were order placement, get delivery options, and register delivery order. But like we mentioned before, that is just a small part of it. So if we want to really expand and get some really good value from this, like you said, we would then connect it with multiple systems. So this was a single channel approach. With Jitterbit, you can have a multi-channel way of working. So yes, we could have your BTEX, your Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, etc. But we also shown just REST HTTP. You could also have EDI, which is built into Jitterbit. So you could have some of these marketplaces that want to send in orders, as an example, through EDI. Well, that's all built in with Jitterbit in the same platform. And so you have your EDI. You could have orders coming in through email. We pick off the attachments, pick off in the body, and take the order details there, put them in the back end. We mentioned it, or we kind of mentioned the frequency. We could have this in real time, like we would with an API. We could go and schedule. Maybe you have orders coming in to an FTP, as an example. So every minute or 5 minutes or the end of every day, well, I don't know, you could go and take all those orders and process them on a scheduled approach. You can have event driven. We've got a listener framework that can in real time receive events from specific systems. So you may have a RabbitMQ as an example, that are receiving events of a new order or new customer notification or whatever. So Jitterbit can in real time pull that information off. But we also have our own built-in message queue. So that's something else that we could have used for the error handling side of things. When an error happens, we could throw it in the queue, and on the other side, specifically to whatever type of error that is, we could handle that as well. So yeah, multi-channel approach, decoupling with message queues. We also have Vinyl, which is an LCAP, low-code application platform. You can build out business applications, scalable applications. Take your pick, returns. Maybe we look at return. We didn't talk about returns today, but after an amazing delivery experience with great feedback, actually, I wanted this blue product and it's coming pink, so I need to return it quickly and bring it back. So what's that process look like there? Well, Jitterbit can then handle that part of the process. Maybe you want to provide an extra application to do that, customer specific portal, if you will, to do separated from that other experience. Maybe we want to talk about like we talked about inventory management before, syncing up inventory. When something's sold, where is the golden record kept? Is it an ERP? Is it a PIM? A new product line comes in. How do you then sync up all these systems? This is where Jitterbit again can come in and make this experience a lot easier, a lot quicker. So we're going from a simple, if you will, point-to-point type of integration to really expand on the types of connectivity you can achieve within all of your systems across your enterprise. Now we are vertical, we are agnostic, industry agnostic. So right now we're talking e-commerce. It could be manufacturing. We could talk about really improving the HR, the onboarding, offboarding process. So the services process, as a ticket comes in, maybe there's maybe we have multiple ticket systems. Once a ticket's created in, say, I don't know, BMC we talked about before, maybe it needs to go to the back end in Jira for the developer to work on. You take your process, Jitterbit can help integrate it, to be honest. Whether it is multi-channel, like we said, our built-in EDI, we've got built-in message queue, listener framework, our API is incredible as well. We have a marketplace where we have pre-built integrations that can be used. We have Vinyl that can build out your specific business applications. Now this, I actually think this is quite key, all these different types of technologies under one platform, because it avoids this idea of shadow IT. I'm sure we've all worked in companies before where somebody maybe from marketing has said, we need this feature, or we need this new system. And IT have said, well, let's get some more information because we need to manage it, look after it, and then they go off and buy it anyway, just because that's what people do. Whereas within someone like Jitterbit, IT can still manage that full platform, still give access, still revoke it, still maintain it, update it, all this kind of good stuff, but still have the freedom to create new and exciting services within that industry, or within a simple platform like Harmony, which is what our platform's called within Jitterbit. Yeah, I mean, look, we're so broad. We're not prescriptive. You've seen that with the specific features of what you did, what you've seen with the transformation side. This is not a simple drag and drop. You can't do much. It's quite extensible in that side as well. So yeah, quite a lot you can do. Quite a lot of angles you could look at this within Jitterbit, but the idea being is, can we help you automate your business processes? Can we make the experience quick and easy? And can we free up, especially for the people on this who are listening to this, can we free up that resource to be more, to concentrate more strategic, let's say, aspects of the job? Because building integration, this part is the easy part. What we do as developers, as programmers, we need that kind of resource, those assets concentrated in the right place. And for integration point of view, that's the easy part, in my opinion. And that's why Jitterbit is really useful in those types of environments.
Yeah, I think you're spot on right there with integration taking a lot of time. I even read a report where it says that glue code, or just code that binds different systems together, is actually 70% programming solution. So by doing this in an easy way with a low-code platform, you're actually able to focus on building the business side and focusing on creating the features that your customer need, not just gluing things together, which in the end for the customer is like expecting that this is already there. They don't want, yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, even there's one more thing as well. You know, when you hear, I mean, a lot of people sometimes say to us, do you have a connector for this or a connector for that? What Jitterbit can do, the connectors are really important, and we have some incredible connectors, quite a lot. In fact, more than most. But we also have things like we connected into Milkman with HTTP connector. So we call it a protocol-based connector. Some may call it a generic connector. But it's the connectivity into these systems that are using HTTP that will make it so simple. We could have gone through a different route. We allow you the ability to build your own connectors with a copy and paste type of scenario with what we call connector builder. We also give you an SDK, a connector SDK, to build in a fully fledged connector yourself. So we could build out a Milkman connector, dedicated connector. We used HTTP, which is fine as well. We've got things like OData, SOAP, Graph, take your pick, FTP, database, more coming as well, etc., etc. There's not many systems that Jitterbit can't connect into. And the way you could then build upon them with a decoupled, reusable approach, especially with our help and best practices, the time to market or time to value, which is more key metric, it is massively improved. So happy to talk around anything more specific when it comes to integrations, because like we said, we are agnostic. You abstract from that complexity, if you will, of building out the glue code with Jitterbit. So yeah, happy to talk more.
Okay. So I think we already have subjects for the next recording sessions. That's it for today's demo. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Marco, for joining and bringing all the valuable information with you. So today was the technical session, the second session in the series. We have one more session in the series, and during the next session, we will talk about what other type of integrations can be done in order to improve even further the customer experience of the retail customers.